Welcome back to Gas is on the Ride, everybody. We had a little bit of a break just because life is lifing right now. But we're back post Richmond after Joey Logano wins again. His second win in 4 races. And he shoots up the chase-off standings to 8th. We talk it all about it, Richmond, right now. Gas is on the right. Welcome back, Daniel. It's been a minute since we've done one of these.
It's been a minute since I have, for sure.
Yeah, it's in post baby and his little boy here doing pretty good. I hear.
Yeah, he is. He sleeps well, so that's good.
Man, how about Joe Logano? Joker looked like he was left for dead just a few weeks ago, and the 22 team has found something. And they whittled off 2 wins in 4 races.
Yeah, it wasn't a month ago where he was sitting 20th in points, and we were like, I don't know, but if anybody can do it, it's Joey Logano. And then here he is, gone from 20th to he's either 8th or 9th. I think Larson gained a spot at the end of the race, and it bumped him to 9th. So he's like 1 point off Larson, and I think 7th is mathematically probably the highest he can get. But I mean, even still, they said the top 6 has that 85% chance of winning. But you know, that doesn't mean that 7th, 8th, or 9th or 10th can't win it. I mean, I think 10's probably really legitimately the cutoff, but still,
Yeah,
they're uh, they're becoming a legitimate threat. I mean, it really boils down to how they're going to perform on the intermediate tracks.
yeah, they've really found something on these short tracks, but I I think is could be corrected. Martinsville's the only short track in the playoffs or chase-offs. Am I right, or is it?
Yeah, well, they got a 3 race stretch of really good races for them of Talladega, Martinsville, and then Phoenix before Homestead.
Yeah,
And Homestead is a higher wear track, and the Penske, or at least Blaney and Logano, are really good on higher wear races. And Logano's won the championship at Homestead before, so they are, if they're in that ballpark of like going into Talladega, if they're 25, 30 points off of winning or being in first place in the point standings, they have, it's pretty much, they just got to like mitigate their losses
yeah,
going into that final 4 or 5 race stretch. And several times, Logano's won at Las Vegas too. So even from like that point forward is normally when their playoff hot streak starts. So if he's within some kind of range of that, I mean, you got to consider him. You got to be worried about him because he's getting hot at the right time.
yeah. Not only did he win Saturday night, he also had a career led milestone. He crossed the 10,000 lap career lap led, becoming only the 3rd active driver behind Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson to do so. So that's he joins the 10,000 laps led um, club, and so that's him. Another, I guess, big milestone for him this weekend. But as I saw a post race, I think it was, I'm not sure who it was, asking, what does he think, about, all the people online saying that he's a Mickey Mouse, 3-time Mickey Mouse champion with, how the old playoff format was. And, he brushed it off saying, well, Mickey Mouse or not, they count just the same, and I want them the way
Hmm.
that the rules stated at that time. And he said that they have a slogan in the hauler on a sticker that this year's for the haters, and so I think Logano, like you said, if they can stay hot like they are right now, you can never count a Penske car out, him or Blaney, and they're just Penske's just kind of sneaky. You think they're kind of lagging behind, and all of a sudden they're just boom. They're really off 2 or 3 races, and I think Logano's won 2 out of the last 4. Blaney won in Atlanta, so they've won. They've wheeled off three wins, kind of right out of nowhere. So can't really never count them out.
In a year that we were counting out Ford.
Yeah, I'm thinking Ford has. I know it's just Penske holding the banner for him, but still, Ford is obviously looking better than they did a month ago.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, really, if you think a month ago, Penske wasn't even carrying the banner because Blaney was the only Penske driver in the top 16 in the point standings. The other Fords were the RFK drivers, which have all
Yeah,
not been performing great as of late.
they have.
Um, to me, really, since Brad Keselowski made the comments about Ford not investing as much as they should in other teams besides Penske,
Yeah,
little conspiracy theory.
yeah. I don't know. I just the Chris Buescher still, because just flying under the radar and reeling off good finishes there for RFK, but Priest and Brad has just fell off hard. And Priest, he's I'm not sure. I don't got the point standings in front of me. I think he's 50 points out. So
That's correct.
if he had those 25 points he lost because of the penalty, he'd only be 25 out, and it'd be a lot better than 50. So
Yeah, it'd be a lot more attainable, especially them going to New Hampshire, which is a place that you'd expect him to perform well. And then, there's the unknown of Talladega,
yeah,
or not Talladega,
Daytona, and
to finish out the season.
so we know RFK usually runs pretty good if they can keep if they can keep all four wheels on the ground there at Daytona.
Yeah, that's the key.
Just keep them all on the ground, all four tires on the ground. But not even Logano, like Blaney, goes back to back on the pole. He's had nice Saturdays or this week, Friday speed, 2 weeks in a row, and he also won stage one. Then, like I'm saying, then Logano just waxed him in stage two, winning that one by I think I said here in this notes like 8 seconds or something, 8.7 seconds over Denny Hamlin. He just really took him to school in the second stage, and I know
looked like it was going to be another, which I mean it kind of ended up being another North Wilkesboro esque race for him with how many cars he put a lap down. Because I think even in the second stage he had lapped into the top 20. I think at the end of the second stage there might have been 13 or 14 cars on the lead lap at the end of the second stage. I mean, he was putting on a clinic.
Yeah, I'm saying only 11 cars finished on the lead lap. Ross Chastain finished 12th, 1 lap down, and it's kind of like I think back at Wilkesboro there was like 7 or 8 cars on the lead lap. So eerie similar to how that race went for him last time, and so.
Yeah, because Logano's wins are typically the same as like how we think about a Martin Truex win, where you just go out there and wax their butt all day. Like there's a couple of them that they back into, but the majority of his and Truex's wins are just a butt kicking all day.
Yeah, the Ford streak kind of really don't end with Penske. I know the Wood Brothers is basically that fifth Penske car, but Josh Berry's finally stringing some finishes together. He scored his third straight top 10. It's the first time he's done that since doing it at Martinsville, Phoenix, and the Daytona 500. Martinsville and Phoenix to end last year, and the Daytona 500 this year. So Josh Berry's had a miserable season, and he's out of that. As the broadcast mentioned 2-3 times Saturday night, he's out of a ride, and he's looking pretty strong right now. So if he could put finish out the rest of the year, running pretty good. I don't really know what rides are left at this point. A lot of,
I think it's just the 33 that's left, man.
Yeah, because I know that Gregson re-signed. They announced that this weekend. So the fours, I know we talked earlier. Him maybe going back and taking over the 4 again. Well, that one's out of the question. So yeah, just the 33, and I don't know.
If you look at how Barry's running right now, he's a Cup Series winner. He's got ties to Bass Pro Shop, so he's gonna have that sponsorship that he's able to bring to the table. I mean, it's just if you're looking at how Barry's running right now versus how Hill's running, which I mean, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt because he was not prepared to run, this last really 3 quarters of the season, in the circumstances that he's in. But I mean, if you really got to look at it, where he's had the one good race tour at San Diego until it wasn't good, but outside of that, it's been nothing. I mean, I'll be curious to see how he does at Daytona with the new package that they have that
Yeah.
makes it more advantageous for passing because he's pretty good there in Talladega.
Yeah.
Ask anybody in the O'Reilly series, and
Yeah.
so I'll be curious to see how he does there. But I mean, really, I mean, how could you not want Barry over Hill at this point?
Yeah. I don't know what they do. I'm thinking RCR. I know everybody says hey, it's just a dramatic curve from Saturday to Sunday. The cars are nothing alike, and
Hmm.
Austin Hill gets thrown into just terrible situation. Um, so does RCR be like, okay, we're just gonna have this year the mulligan. We're gonna give him the pretty much 3 quarters of this year because Coke 600 spent a quarter into the season. We're gonna give him this, the last 3 quarters and all of next year. And if he doesn't figure something out, well, we'll go and find somebody in 28. But I don't know. You're probably your top prospect at 28's off the board now with Connor Zelich locking the 48 up. That was announced today. I know that was the what everybody believed was going to happen. And I know Jordan Malanke, I think, said about a month and a half ago, that he was the top candidate. But Hendrick made that official today. I'm kind of shocked they announced it this early. We're in August of
Hmm.
26, and you got a year and a half pretty much of left. I figured they would probably wait to after the season or maybe sometime next year to announce that. But
Yeah, which I don't think Justin Marks will be as you know ill about it as Richard Childress was when Tyler Reddick announced it.
yeah,
Um, to be like, well, this is who we're putting in the car, and we're going to go ahead and put him in a car and run you in an open car, you know.
yeah,
Um, so, but I mean, that does leave who's going to fill that spot
yeah.
at the end of next year because it's really looking at who's available to call up in the Chevrolet camp. I mean, I don't think Justin Allgaier wants to run full time Cup. So I mean, really, if you look at the Chevrolet camp, Austin Hill and Jesse Love are both presumably moving up next year. So it kind of just leaves to me Carson Quapple.
Corey Day's also another one that I would kind of
Hmm.
look at because he was. I really thought he would be in the 48 discussion, even before, even though
Yeah, well,
I was.
he had that one win, and he's really just kind of fell off
Yeah,
from there.
he. So I don't know. He's there depending on what he does next year. You could potentially see him going to Trackhouse. Trackhouse would. Uh, you know they're they have not shown great results this year. Even though Chastain is kind of finding some
He's starting
resurgence.
to flourish
Yeah, a little bit
the
now.
past two
He has
weeks.
climbed up the chase offs. He's a lot closer than he was. So they have found
Hmm.
something there in the one car, but I believe it's a little too late there. You
Yeah,
know.
because the problem is SVG's finishing good enough to where eh, they're going to have to win him or uh, Priest. They're going to have to win a race to make a difference because SVG is just figuring out how to get the finishes he needs.
Yeah.
Whether this weekend it was just pit strategy call, like, hey, we're going to stay out and hope that there's a caution and take the wave around, and sure enough, there was, and he was able to kind of get back on the same cycle. And I mean, ended up finishing a lap down, but he still got. I think he's in the top 15 to if you're finishing in the top 15 and you're 16th in points, it's going to be hard for whoever's behind you to
Yeah.
make up enough points if you're getting that decent of a finish.
He's plus 50 over the cutoff. Priest is like we said earlier, is minus 50. Then Chastain's right there at minus 63. So yeah,
I mean,
if
he'll have to wreck out in the first stage next week for Priest or Chastain to have a chance.
yeah, if SVG can go and get a top 15 finish this week, and I don't think he'll get any stage points, but top 15 finish,
Mm-hmm.
I really think that might put the lock on it. I just because going into Daytona, Chastain or Priest will have to go and sweep all the stages
And win the race.
and win the race, and that Daytona is so much of a crapshoot. But
And that's assuming SVG doesn't have a good day there either.
yeah,
Because all he's going to have to do is earn 15 points.
yeah,
That's all he has to do or 25 points, sorry. In the next 2 weeks, all he's got to do is earn 25 points to the cut line.
yeah,
Which, with the inconsistency of everyone behind him, isn't really asking that much. Because if he gets that top 15,
yeah,
12th, 13th, 14th place finish this week, goes and earns some stage points early at Daytona, he could lock it up before the race is over,
yeah,
I mean, obviously, that'd make that a little less compelling, but
yeah, that's kind of where we, I guess, the win you in, you'll go to Daytona. Are we going to have a Harrison Burton type moment, or Austin Dillon type moment where they just 30th in points, and here they come winning the race, and guess what? They're in the chase. But
yeah,
I kind of think that's better, to be honest, because because the last few years, like a Harrison Burton, he was taking a spot from somebody who maybe deserved it, and they were just an easy, they were going to be 3 races and you're gone, see you later. And I kind of think that, I know, you look at the back half, like we said, these 16 SVGs won 2 road course races, but I don't think he's a threat right now to go win a chase race. But a Cindric, a Bubba Wallace, your Daniel Suarez's, they're in your 13th, 14th, 15th. They've been all running really well all year, and I could see them going to win a race, if they put it all together instead of like
Kansas or something.
Yeah.
But with how SVG performed at Wilkesboro, when they go to Martinsville, that might be somebody to keep your eye on.
Yeah.
Because he's really starting to get especially on the short tracks, it seems he's really starting to figure those out more so than the 1.5 miles. I mean, you go to Martinsville, or I don't necessarily think Bristol, but them flat ovals like Martinsville. I mean, even this week, he's going to have a good qualifying draw. I mean, if he can get qualifying like the top 15, I mean, who's to say he can't go this week and pull off the upset? I mean, he's got it figured out,
So talking about Martinsville, him at Martinsville, I pulled up his average finishes. He's got a 12th in the first race there last year, and then the second race in 24. Hang on, I confused myself. Yeah, the second race of 24, 12th, 34th for the first spring race last year. Then followed that up with a 14th in the fall race and an 11th in the spring race this year. So besides that 134th, SVG hadn't been bad at Martinsville, and he's been
no.
He really showed something at North Wilkesboro, and he was all right. He was all right this weekend in Richmond. So like you said, So. But moving on, we kind of talking about people who's had a good races. Hendrick Motorsports finally, breaks their string of bad luck and places all 4 cars in the top 10. That is the first time that has happened since April Talladega 2025, 50 races ago. And I'm telling you about, they needed that. They have been.
Well, yeah, and it broke.
Yeah.
Chase Elliott had 9 consecutive finishes outside the top 10, which was the longest streak of his career too. So it was when the day started, it did not look like that was going to happen for any of those cars.
Yeah, for sure. Larson was kind of bad all day early, And then
I mean, he got the lucky dog like 3 or 4 times.
yeah, and they just kind of kept. Larson said it in his Knoxville Nationals presser, and he said they asked him about it. He said, well, we just kept making the car better. He said every time we'd get the lucky dog, Cliff would just come in, we'd just throw everything at it. He said by the end of the race, it was actually pretty good. And he said, he said I kind of wish we had another 50 laps, but really don't because I knew we made it here. But he said if we had another 50, we finished sixth. Who knows? We could have been up there competing or in the top three. But
I thought he wanted shorter races.
Yeah, not Saturday night, I guess. He said he had a comment. I think Friday this week, where he kind of clarified what he was talking about. He said he did not want shorter mileage races. He wants shorter time races. Because I think he'd been getting smoked on wanting to shorten races.
Which, I mean, that checks out. Me too. But I think, NASCAR's moving in the right direction with working on shortening their cautions up.
Yeah.
Like, if one car spins, quickie caution.
Yeah.
Get them off the track, next lap. Lead lap cars, next lap, lap down cars. And then lap after that, go back green,
Yeah, that's and the kind of the thing that it started it all was at Indy. When we had a caution right before
after
the stage,
caution.
And it took like 30 minutes to run like 4 actual laps, and between caution and stage, and it just I like the new rule that has come out since we've done the last shows where. If the caution comes out within the last 10 laps, that is the stage. We ain't doing the whole clean it up, go back racing for 3 laps. I think that's going to. We hadn't seen one of those yet, but eventually we will at some point. And I think that was speeded up too. Just okay, comes out with 3 to go. Okay, whatever. That's the stage. Give stage points. Clean it up. Let's go. And. I think that would make a difference, but I was, I really don't think the problem was like we were saying, the links. I think it was just more of kind of what we've been talking about, just the caution length. I think we're just under caution way too long, and NASCAR has listened to the fans and made some adjustments there, and that's all you can really ask for, I guess, is they actually listen to us, the fans and the sanctioning body and the drivers, and kind of saying, okay, we're going to see what we can do to speed things along and make some changes, and instead of just kind of ignoring the problem.
Yeah, the next thing they need to look at is like road courses. I don't know if like under caution they need to raise, the pace car speed.
Yeah.
Where they're going around the track a little bit faster, or, I mean, there's all kind of like access roads on those road courses. There's got to be some kind of access road that shortens the track, or maybe that's what some of the road courses need to look at. Like, if you're under caution, this is what you run, just to shorten the racetrack,
Yeah.
And that way you can lower the time that you're spending under caution, because the road courses take forever. I mean, if there's a caution, it's like literally 15 minutes before they even think about going back green.
Yeah, and so we're kind of getting back to the who's had good results, and Joe Gibbs is on the verge of making a little bit of history themselves. If they have a car finish in the top 2 at New Hampshire, they would break the streak with Hendrick Motorsports for the longest streak of having a driver in the top 2. Hendrick is on that since 2012. The JGR has had one driver finish in the top 2 positions in 7 straight races. So if they go and do it in New Hampshire, they'll set a new record with 8. And with how good Bell's been there and Hamlin's been good there, I could really see him, making that streak number 8.
Yeah, that's not anything far-fetched. or too much to ask from them at this point in the season with how they're all running and with all those drivers' histories at that track.
Yeah,
And there's
Denny.
nothing better than seeing Denny Hamlin shy away from the lobster.
Yeah. Hamlin here, another stat, is kind of go that way. Is he has now 11 consecutive top 5 finishes on non-drafting track ovals. So you can pretty much, and he's been really good at New Hampshire. Like you just don't hand him Larry Lobster. He don't want no part of that. So I if I had him to pick this week, he'd be my pick just because he's.
I wish I could pick him every week.
Looking at the sheet, when I was trying to make my pick today, I was like, damn, Hamlin is. I wish I could just scribble him in there, but shifting gears a little bit here. What about Spire, man? Like I guess the setups for for Richmond
The
didn't
notebook has run out.
Yeah, it didn't. I guess the notebook got lost or something. They left it at home this weekend. I'm thinking, I get that Carson Hocevar's problem really wasn't a setup problem. He was terrible before he blew a motor, and I've seen a lot of people on Twitter say that they kind of think Hocevar just killed his motor on purpose because he was running so bad and just wanted to be done.
Honestly, I wouldn't put that past him.
Yeah, and just it was hot, and he's like, we suck. He came on the radio several times. I heard, and it was had choice words for his car, something we can't repeat here. But he was not happy about his race number 77 car Saturday night, and but yeah, kind of wouldn't be surprising if he just forgot to shift, or shifted down, double shifted, and made the motor go boom to end that terrible night they had. But even Suarez didn't have a great night. So
yeah, that's what I saw on where they're doing like the telemetry tracking, that it showed like he was at like 12,000 RPMs.
Yeah, I saw he posted a picture on it yesterday. He said he was trying to go back to old school NASCAR with his RPMs, but I don't know. It had been a good few weeks for Hocevar. He was at one point 4th or 5th in points, and I think he's tumbled down to 11th or 12th right now.
Yeah, he's plummeting.
Yeah, he is. He was sitting pretty there for a while, but he is. I don't think he's in danger of falling out. I think he's pretty much a lock right now, just because he's had so good of a year. But that seeding's not going to be very good if it continues.
No, because I think he said he wanted to be like at least top 10 in points, which is still where he's at is still attainable. But this weekend he's got to stop the bleeding. Which the good thing is Joe Gibbs has been really good at New Hampshire, so
yeah,
they should have to.
Yeah, just make sure you copy and paste the setup this weekend. Make sure you have it for sure.
Just so Spire's aware that it's not slander. It's all jokes.
Yeah. It's just our, I still think I really don't know if I believe much of the JGR stuff, but it's just making it's there, so we just leave it on the we'll just run with it. But yeah, the Spire has not. They have kind of cooled off a little bit here in the summer. But
yeah, which I mean, it seems like everybody's besides Gibbs, everyone's had their ebbs and flows this year. Well, I mean, really everyone besides Denny Hamlin. The rest of the Gibbs drivers have.
Yeah, it's in I'd say the Toyotas in general, but even 2311 has Tyler Reddick has had a snowball the last 6 weeks or so, and
he went from untouchable to 4th in points. Yeah,
he finally caught a break Saturday night though, a caution right when he needed it, but he couldn't really capitalize it on enough. They still fail a little bit, but he thought everybody thought there on the broadcast that hey, Tyler Reddick's luck might have turned around here and caught a caution when he needed it, and he stayed up there for a little bit, but I'm not really sure where he finished. Let me look at this real fast. still ended up finishing 11th, so outside the top 10. And he led for a little bit, and he fell back down to like the top 4 or 5, and ended up coming home in the 11th spot. Last car on the lead lap, so he did not get lapped. So he can say that for himself. But he after from looking invincible to now being what is he 4th in points, or he get back up to he's back to 4th. So if you ask me about Nashville or no, I'd been like, well, Hamlin's cutting it, but I don't know. I think Reddick might just kind of get it back rolling, but it never happened.
Yeah, the flip. I mean, I don't know. It's just like someone who completely pulled the wind out of his sails.
Yeah, they said on the broadcast Saturday that Michael Jordan tried to give him a rally speech. He came to the shop and tried to rally the troops. So, morale's not good when you got to bring in MJ to try to give him a morale booster. But we'll just kind of run down the points here. We've kind of talked a pretty good bit about it all, but we'll give you your top 16, then we'll give you the chase-off standings here. We got Denny Hamlin and is still the top dog here, number 1, leading the points. Then it's Ron Blaney. He leapfrogs Ty Gibbs after Ty Gibbs leapfrogged him last week. And then you got, like I said, Gibbs in 3rd, Reddick down to 4th, Briscoe back up to 5th. Briscoe might be one to watch, man. I really, unfortunately, that's Allen's championship pick, but I think he might be one to watch. Then you got Chase Elliott in 6th, Christopher Bell in 7th, Kyle Larson back up to 8th. Joe Logano keeps that rise up through the standings up to 9th. Chris Buescher 10th. Carson Hocevar, we talked about him. He's down to 11th. William Byron 12th, Daniel Suarez 13th, Bubba Wallace 14th, plus 70, Austin Cindric 15th, plus 57, SVG plus 50, then Ryan Preece on the first one out minus 50, Ross Chastain minus 63. You got BK minus 78, Eric Jones minus 81, who at one point I was ready to give him a lot for the playoffs, and he just fell off.
I don't know what happened. I mean,
that speed they found was short-lived, I believe. Then Michael McDowell minus 104. I think that's a little bit too much. I really think it's going to come down to, like we said earlier, Priest and Chastain. There's only really 2 left, in my opinion. I don't think anybody other than Brad minus 78. He's going to have to go out and dominate the next 2 races, and I haven't seen that from him since he left Penske, so I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
So he's pretty much, I'd be willing to write him out already. So that's your point standings leaving Richmond. So
I'd say really the only 2 maybe spots that they could fall out is Cindric and SVG. I think everyone above there is virtually a lock, pending, they wreck out, like I said, in the first stage and just get 1 point. And everybody below has a good day, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, here's another little stat about Logano that I forgot to read earlier. After Sonoma, Joe Logano was 20th in the standings. 31 points below the cut line, 7 races and 2 wins later, he now sits 9th in the standings. 92 points cleared the cut line. Logano gained 11 positions in the standings in 7 races. No one else gained more than 6. So that just kind of gives you a little bit more of a, how much of a role the 22 has been on.
Yeah, I mean, they've been kicking butt.
So that's just,
for sure.
But moving on, kind of look for, we go to our picks now. Kind of move into that part of the show. Dan, well, I didn't up this part. I know I did not win this week. I finished last.
Alan won this week with Ross Chastain I came in second with Ty Gibbs, who I assumed was going to be off of a heater from last week, and he sped in the first stage and then got trapped a lap down the rest of the race.
Yeah.
Um, and then Emily finished third with Ryan Priest, and you came last with Austin Dillon.
Yeah, I was gambling on the old three-peat there, or at least a good finish there. But the old setup there for RCR has obviously been
Dwindled.
is outdated.
Yeah.
But
So this week, Alan is phoned his pick in, and he is taking Willie B, old William Byron, for his pick.
it's a good pick.
Coming off the top 10, got a little bit of momentum. I am going to take Christopher Bell, which I hope will give me some momentum because y'all have been kicking my butt since freaking Watkins Glen.
Yeah. Then I'm gonna Emily. I see Emily here has Ross Chastain, and then
Yeah, we spun a wheel for the universe for her, and it picked
yeah.
Chastain.
Then I'm coming home. I'm taking a gamble that Ryan Priest can kind of get him a hometown win. I know he's from Connecticut and the races in New Hampshire, but kind of the same home region, I guess. Hope he can put on for the home area fans there, and he really needs it. So hopefully he puts it all together and gets me a win. And I found a stat earlier I was going to read after our picks, but I don't know where it went. But it was to the tune that don't really bet on the Chevrolets, because the last time a Chevrolet won at New Hampshire, it was still called Sprint Cup. Jimmy Johnson wasn't a 7-time champion yet. It still wasn't called. The playoffs hadn't even happened yet. So pretty much just telling people, hey, you don't want to bet Chevrolet at New Hampshire, but
no, that's a Toyota and Ford track.
Yeah, so hopefully that means bodes good for me and you, Daniel.
Yeah, someone who's actually pretty sneaky good. He's got a couple of wins at New Hampshire and needs to win. Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, he. I'd like to see it, but I don't know. Trying to see if I can find that stat, like I said, but I don't. Yeah, here it is. The last time Chevrolet won a Cup race at New Hampshire, Jimmy Johnson wasn't a 7-time champion yet. Sprint was still the Cup Series title sponsor. It wasn't called the playoffs yet. Chase Elliott and Ron Blaney were rookies. Kyle Larson had just got his first Cup Series win. So I'm hoping that treads good for me and you this weekend.
Hopefully. Me too, buddy. Me too.
Hopefully. But
I hope it doesn't tread well for you. Just me.
Hey, you could take the win as long as I'm not last in the cellar this week. Well, I'll take it. But any thoughts about New Hampshire? The Magic, or no, it ain't the Magic Mile. That's in Milwaukee. I don't know what to do.
I've just always heard it Loudon.
Yeah, Loudon.
To me, it's still Loudon, not New Hampshire. But I mean, honestly, the short track racing's been fairly decent outside of Bristol and Martinsville. Like, I felt like North Wilkesboro was a pretty good race, and so was where did we just come from? Richmond.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a pretty good race. I mean, it was classic short track of, everybody was a lap down. But, like you said, there was 29 lead changes in this race. So that's something. And there was a lot of passing going on. Multi-groove rate, which New Hampshire is not so much multi-groove, but whoever can roll that bottom, the better. We'll find out soon enough. So
I'll give the 750 horsepower package credit. It has made the short tracks were probably the worst tracks with this new Gen 6 car. It has made it better. Has not made them just horrible races. The last North Wilkesboro, Richmond was really good races. So hopeful that we can continue the streak there and see a better race there. And then
It
we've
helps
seen,
when you can't run the whole race on
yeah,
left side tires.
yeah. So we'll see Sunday who collects a new lobster for the wall, and we'll be back sometime next week to recap it all. And Daniel, close us out with them plugs, buddy.
Yeah, make sure to check us out on the Daily Downforce, to where you can find our link tree, which will take you to all our social media pages, Facebook, X, TikTok, and Instagram, and it'll be able to take you to whichever podcast platform you choose to listen on, and you'll be able to find us there.
Alrighty, we'll see y'all post New Hampshire.